Okay, you just finished number 3 on page 19 in your activity book for your practice independently. Here's my work for number 3. I had 1/2 full and 3/8 full. I know that 8 is an even number, so 2 is one of the factors of 8. So I'm going to use 8 as the denominator, so I only had to change 1/2. 1/2 is equivalent to 4/8. 4/8 is bigger than 3/8, so that's how I got Will's glass is fuller. And then it is 1/8 fuller because 4 minus 3 is 1. The denominator does not change. So that is the answer to number 3 on page 19. And now I'm going to do just a couple more problems so we can make sure that we understand how to convert denominators to like denominators so that we can then subtract. So I want to do, this is still your activity book. We're still on page 19, and I'm going to start with problem number 5. That way you can look at this in your book when you are finished watching the video. So I have 3/4 minus 1/8. Similar problem to what I had. Almost the same denominators, but it's the same idea. 4 is a factor of 8, so I'm going to use 8 as the denominator, and I only have to change 1. So 3/4, I need to get it to a fraction with 8 as the denominator. I multiply by a fraction equal to 1 so that I do not change the value. 4 times 2 is 8. What I do to the denominator, I must do to the numerator. I multiply it by 2. So 3 times 2 is 6. So I know that 3/4 is equivalent to 6/8. I can now do the problem. 6/8 minus 1/8 equals 5/8. That is my answer for number 5. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and now work on number 8 from the activity book. We're doing the same thing. So we're taking all those skills that we had from the last 2 weeks, finding common denominators. We're using those changing to equivalent fractions. All of those skills kind of put together in this. So number 8 is 5/6 minus 3/4. I'm looking at 6 and 4, and I know that 6 is not a multiple of 4, which means 4 is not a factor of 6. I need to decide what to use. So I could multiply 4 times 6 together and get 24, but I'm pretty sure there's something smaller. So I'm going to list the multiples. 4 times 1 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8, 4 times 3 is 12. Oh, that 12 might have something in common with my 6. 6 times 1 is 6, 6 times 2 is 12. So you can see that 12 is the least common multiple. I could keep going and get to 24, but I can stop here with 12. So 5/6 needs to be multiplied by a fraction equal to 1 to get me a denominator of 12. 3/4, I'm going to do the same thing. Sorry, move that up a little bit. I'm going to do the same thing with 3/4, multiply by a fraction equal to 1 to get to 12 as the denominator. I remind myself that I have to have a fraction equal to 1, which means the numerator and the denominator are the same. So I know that this is 2, so I multiply by 2 over 2. 5 times 2 is 10. 4 times something gives me 12. That something is 3. I do the same to the top. 3 times 3 is 9. So now I'm doing 10/12 minus 9/12, and that gives me 1/12 left over. The next one I'm going to do is number 10, which is 4/7 minus 1/8. So I need to find a common denominator for the 2. I'm going to list the multiples because I think I need to use the product of 7 times 8, but I do want to be sure. So 7 times 1 is 7. 7 times 2 is 14. 7 times 3 is 21. 7 times 4 is 28. 7 times 5 is 35. 7 times 6 is 42. 7 times 8 is 56. Oops, I forgot 7 times 7. Oh no, 7 times 7 is 49. Okay, well I'm going to stop there because it can't be any bigger than 7 times 8. I'm going to list my multiples of 8 just to make sure. 8 times 1 is 8. 8 times 2 is 16. 8 times 3 is 24. So no matches yet. 8 times 4 is 32, still nothing. 8 times 5 is 40. 8 times 6 is 48, still nothing. 8 times 7 is 56. So I'm going to use this 56 as I told you yesterday. It's called the least common multiple. The least common multiple of 7 and 8 is 56, which happens to be the product of 7 times 8. So we'll change these to fractions that have denominators of 56, which is pretty big. A little bit larger than I like to use, but if that's the only one, then that's the only one. So I'm multiplying by a fraction equal to 1, as always. I already said it's 7 times 8, so I know I can just plug this in as 8 over 8. 4 times 8 is 32. 8 times 7, and 7 times 1 is 7. And now I can subtract. 32 over 56 minus 7 over 56. So now I'm doing 32 minus 7, which is 25 over 56. And that is my answer to number 10.